Breaking news, a workplace shooting in Tennessee has left 3 people dead. How investigators say it all began. We'll have the very latest.
The Nebraska Department of Roads has introduced several new highway improvement projects. I'm Maria Thompson, and I'll tell you which roads in Nebraska will be affected and when this project is expected to begin.
3 nights of rioting in North Carolina, and a curfew will soon take effect. Protesters continue to pack the streets as the National Guard now tries to restore order.
A big change is coming to Eppley Airfield, and it will impact the way you park your car. I'm Paul Gutierrez, and I'll explain tonight what that change is all about and what you'll need to know going forward.
From Omaha's only hour of primetime news, this is the Fox 42 News at 9.
Call it the roadmap to improvement.
Some of the busiest roads in Omaha are now about to get busier. The state is getting ready to add several lanes and improve several intersections. Fox 42's Maria Thompson got a look at the projects impacting the area. And Maria, why do some drivers say this could actually cause more problems than good?
Yes, Gia, I'm here at Highway 75 and Chandler Road. Here, there will be 1 lane added in the northbound section. This is just one of the many sites that will be worked on as part of the new plan. It's the traffic along I-680 that often creates stress for Renee Wacker.
The traffic is absolutely horrendous between there, and it's really hard when it's only 2 lanes.
She says with only 2 lanes, rush hour can get pretty congested.
And we use the Irvington exit to come home and to get on the interstate too.
But now that all might change. The state of Nebraska is spending more than $300 million on new road improvement plans all across the state, targeting several interstates and busy roads, including I-680 between Fort and Irvington Street and West Dodge Road at 192nd Street.
Got off about 10 minutes ago because she caught me right when I get home. There was probably backed up about 20 cars.
Each improvement plan is just a little different. So here at Interstate 680, the traffic doesn't look too bad right now, but between 4th Street and Irvington, they are adding a couple of lanes to make it a 6-lane expressway.
That's awesome. I'm really excited that they're doing that.
Wacker says with the excitement of improved roadways comes the thought of more construction.
Construction on the interstate in Nebraska is always ongoing, and it's always a problem.
And for Robertson, he knows it could lead to a different problem if it means closing the exit.
There'd be a lot of people driving through the neighborhood and it wouldn't be nice and quiet. There'd probably be other people speeding through here.
Now, not everyone here seems as thrilled about the new construction project. We talked to a few people here today who say they don't actually see that much traffic along these areas, so adding a new lane wouldn't be that much of a difference. Back to you.
These projects won't begin until 2024. It's estimated to be at least $300 million. Now, for a complete list of where the construction and design projects will be, visit our website, fox42kptm.com.
Another busy highway could soon be expanded to 4 lanes if one man gets his way. Highway 92 from Wahoo to Omaha is just 2 lanes right now. But Andrew Raymond wants to change that. He currently has an online petition urging the Nebraska Department of Roads to expand the popular roadway. Raymond says the road can be burdensome to drive on because of farm equipment and snow. The decision could be made by October.
It was hot and humid out there today with temperatures getting into the upper 90s for Omaha or the low 90s for Omaha and Shenandoah. Lincoln at 93. So for the first day of fall, certainly not feeling like that, but that's not going to be the case for long. We've got cloudy sky that was touching the area earlier on today, but starting to clear out, making for clear sky tonight and into tomorrow, but seeing a little lingering cloud cover, some showers surrounding Nebraska. Other than that, not too bad. Now our future radar is going to show some picking up activity Friday night or in Thursday night and into Friday morning. So we're going to start to see some light shower chances work their way in, but then Saturday is when we're really anticipating those storms to move in. We've got cooler weather and those storms on the way. I'll tell you when it's going to cool down and how long those storms will last in just a little bit.
We are following breaking news out of Tennessee where 3 people have been shot and killed. A gunman opened fire in a factory in the small town of Athens, about 3 hours southeast of Nashville. Police say the shooter walked in the plant and started shooting at 2 employees. He killed them and then took his own life. We will continue to update you as we get more information on this story. Happening now, those living in Charlotte, North Carolina have until midnight to return home or face jail time. You're looking live right now as a third night of riots and protests are underway. The National Guard has been called out to try and restore order. We're told several buildings have been damaged by the past 2 nights of rioting. A state of emergency remains in effect tonight. The deadly police shooting that started the violent protests in North Carolina was captured on dash cam.
But the police chief says he does not expect it to be released to the public yet. As reporter Stacey Cohan from our news partner CNN explains, it's a decision not sitting well with the victim's family.
Tonight, Charlotte remains under a state of emergency as officials brace for a third night of protests, prompting the governor to deploy the National Guard in an attempt to limit destruction.
And those who destroy property or hurt other people will be dealt with.
As the state picks up the investigation into the death of Keith Lamont Scott, who was shot and killed outside his car Tuesday by Officer Brentley Vinson. We've seen pictures of what happened next, and Chief Putney says the dashcam video tells more of the story while not providing definitive evidence. Scott pointed a gun at officers. He says the video does show Scott refusing to drop his weapon. The Scott family watched 2 videos of the shooting today and said it is impossible to discern if Scott had anything in his hands. The family wants the video released publicly, but the police chief has resisted such calls.
I understand the whole dynamic and the definition of transparency, but what I can tell you is we've as a custom been very specific in how we release information.
Claiming such a move would put crime victims at risk.
Our sex assault victims, our domestic violence victims are going to have a lot less faith in us. So I would be losing a lot more than people really are willing to acknowledge in the hope to gain additional support and transparency.
The NFL says it plans to play the Panthers versus Vikings game as scheduled on Sunday, but it's continuing to monitor the situation in Charlotte.
The family of the unarmed black man killed by a Tulsa police officer says they're happy she's being charged. Tulsa, Oklahoma police officer Betty Shelby here is now facing a first-degree manslaughter charge. She shot and killed 40-year-old Terrence Crutcher Friday after his SUV broke down. Several videos show Crutcher with his hands in the air for her to see. She says she thought Crutcher was reaching for a weapon. An officer-involved shooting in Cass County has left a man dead and the deputy involved on paid leave. Investigators say it all started when the deputy pulled over 23-year-old Austin Bayer for driving erratically. This happened around 7 last night. The deputy says Bayer took off. They say when Bayer pulled over a second time, he got out of the car and got into a fight with the deputy. And that's when the deputy shot Bayer. The deputy wasn't hurt. A grand jury will now decide if charges will be filed against the deputy.
2 bank robbers are on the loose tonight. Police say 2 men walked into the Council Bluffs Savings Bank with guns. They say one of the men jumped over the counter this morning. Once the men got the cash, they ran out of the bank. Several schools were put into lockdown as a precaution as police looked for those robbers. Police haven't said how much cash the men got away with. If you have any information, if you think you know who or where they are, you're asked to please call Crime Stoppers at 712-328-7867. And across the state line in Omaha, police are looking for 2 men who robbed a grocery store right here. It happened in North Omaha this morning. Police say the men walked into the J&J grocery shortly after 8:30 a.m. They say after robbing the store, the men ran away. They got away with an unknown amount of money. All right, if you have any information about these guys, you're also asked to call Crime Stoppers at 402-444-7867. Omaha Mayor Jean Stothert could soon be undergoing back surgery. That's after falling while walking her dogs. The mayor suffered severe back pain and injured her spine, we're told. The 62-year-old Stothert met with a back surgeon this afternoon and underwent an MRI. Stothert remains in the hospital tonight. She was set to hold a town hall meeting tonight, but that has been canceled.
Investigators in La Vista are trying to figure out what caused a runaway school bus to crash into a house. Take a look at this. Police say the bus somehow got out of gear. That's when it rolled down the street and into that house. As you can imagine, it did a lot of damage. Luckily, no students were on the bus at the time. Witnesses say they just can't believe no one got hurt.
I had no idea what just happened. I just heard this really loud crash right next to me, and suddenly there's a hole in my wall. So I ran upstairs and changed because I was in my pajamas at the time, and came back outside. I saw the entire junior high just staring over here, and then I look over, there's a bus in my house.
The bus was taken to the tow lot where it will be looked at. It isn't clear who will pay for the damages to the home.
1 in 5 female students at the University of Iowa say they have been raped. That's according to a new study. The university says the study involved 10% of the student population on the Iowa City campus. The report found most of those rapes happened during the first semester and not on campus. And researchers say most of them happened when the victim was drinking. And if you've ever tried to park at Epley, it can sometimes be pretty stressful. Well, now that's about to change. The airport is now adding thousands of new parking spaces, it says, along with an app. As Fox 42's Paul Gutierrez explains, that's not the only new things that are coming. And Paul, when will the work begin on all these new changes?
Well, Monty, we're told early next year is when construction on this project should begin. And when all is said and done, about 2 years from now, it should open up about 3,000 new parking spaces for drivers looking for a spot at the airport like I am right at this moment. Now, drivers tell me today that when this project is complete, they're confident that they won't have to circle the parking lots anymore looking for a spot like I am right now. At Epley Airfield, it can get quite busy.
It's always rush, rush, rush.
Linda Moore knows that feeling well.
We fly out of here probably at least 6 times a year.
As a frequent flyer, it's not always easy finding a place to put her car. A new parking garage to replace this outdated one could help. And that's what the airport is going to get.
It'll give us more capacity, not only in the near future, but we're talking, 10, 20 years down the road.
Here's what the new garage will look like. It's 6 stories high and will fit about 3,000 cars when completed in 2019. The garage there now will get demolished next spring. To Tim Conahan, the wait will be worth it.
I don't think we're just maintaining our levels of service. We've actually improved them.
While the new parking garage project won't start taking shape until next year, other projects have already been completed, like a new mobile phone app that can help connect you to parking spaces.
We can now provide real-time parking availability.
From his cell phone, Steve McCoy demonstrates how that feature works. When you're in a time crunch, the app can show you what part of the airport has the least amount of traffic. And it can also help you find your car, thanks to several cameras placed around the garage. McCoy sees it as a driver's friend.
They can make better informed decisions before they even leave for the airport.
With this new app and the new parking garage, many say it might help reduce the stress of traveling. Now, that new app is called FlyOma, in case you want to look at it on your cell phone. That's FlyOma. Now, that's not the only thing that the airport is working on. They've also created a new lot, a cell phone lot, which is where we're sitting right now. That way people can stop here and wait for family and friends to actually get to their destination. There's also a canopy lot as well for people if they're looking for covered parking spaces. Monty?
All right, Paul, again, those sound like some pretty helpful changes. Early next year again is the timeline?
Yes, that's correct, Monty. Construction should begin sometime around the spring of 2017 is what the airport is thinking, and they're hoping that by 2019 that everything should be all wrapped up and ready to go.
All right, let's hope so. Thanks, Paul. Staffers at Epley told us today the new parking garage will be paid for by money from the Airport Authority. Cost of that project, $95 million. It will not come from taxpayers, they say.
Stopping terrorism at the U.S. borders.
Radical Islamist terrorism is becoming more and more frequent and devastating.
What lawmakers on Capitol Hill are doing to keep Americans safe and where they say most of the trouble is starting.
Getting rid of a noisy neighbor.
They rummage all night long, and then they run back home in the morning when the sunlight come out.
What one city is now doing to help one community get more sleep and deal with a messy situation.
But first, learning a valuable lesson.
My coaches actually went and followed all my pages beforehand to see, if I was acting appropriately online.
Why what you post online in high school could cost you your dream calling.